Morning guys, it's Justin with Landscaping Entrepreneur. This morning I'm heading to the shop. Cleanups are going pretty well. I think we solved the vacuum problem yesterday, and I've been on top of Jay, our mechanic, making sure he's doing his job, doing a little bit of micromanaging, helped him organize the shop. One thing that definitely occurred to me is, not that I haven't known, but disorganization is not efficient. So when he was missing a couple days, I was working as the mechanic, and every time I went to get a tool, I couldn't find it because it was mixed with a bunch of other shit or it shouldn't be. So that was part of my mission, was to get the shop organized, so that way when you go to get a part, you know where it is. That alone saves time. The other way I was working on saving time is, now that I got him actually recording how he's spending his time, I noticed that yesterday he spent 4 hours doing errands, which he didn't even accomplish anything, and he could have just called to see if they had the parts, because instead he just drove all these places looking for this part and they didn't have it. You know, it's such a waste of 4 hours. So I think to solve that problem, what I'm going to do is tell him he has 1 day a week to do errands, and it's going to force him to be more efficient with his time and to plan. So what I've realized is that every position, I haven't given the mechanic position much attention yet. This year is our first year we've really had a full-time mechanic. So when you do it yourself, you don't have to think about some of these things, like some of the controls you're going to have to put on any position, whether it be an office person or, you know, a mechanic. But clearly, you know, these rules get set in place because people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they're not being efficient. So you kind of have to shape a system around it. Previous to that, Jay was kind of on a free-for-all. He'd take off whenever he wanted to, anywhere he was half the time. Now I finally nailed him down, because I really started to give it attention when I realized he wasn't fucking getting anything done. Like, this big major things that I needed done, he was failing to get done. So then it led me to be micromanage his time and say, well, what are you doing with your time? And question him if you're not getting done these big major things. So I don't think he's necessarily doing it on purpose, but, you know, I have to kind of shape the position and make up rules and policies for each position. And it's no different for the mechanic position. So it's kind of, you know, every position once in a while takes my focus and attention to fine tune, and that's what's going on with the mechanic position at the moment. So anyway, our charge rates are starting to go back up. I think the guys are getting the feel for the cleanups. Also this year we're doing the gutters hourly, so we can't lose on those, so that's working out. I know a lot of people do cleanups straight hourly, but we're planning on doing that just for our overflow, because generally speaking, straight hourly is going to turn people off. People want a price. So we're going to do straight hourly when we otherwise just wouldn't have the resources to do the estimate. Otherwise, we're doing by square footage.